Granville. I'm a registered dietitian, registered licensed dietitian, and I am the nutrition education coordinator for SNAP-Ed, UGA SNAP-Ed.
My name is Tracy Brigman, and I'm a clinical assistant professor at the University of Georgia.
Wonderful. I'm Leanne Aaron, and I am the Morgan and Oconee County Family and Consumer Science Extension Agent.
Wonderful. They deserve a good school nutrition program.
The answer I want to give is cows. I love cows. And what that really equals is that Oconee County has been a nice mix of rural and, there's been a strong agricultural rural aspect to it.
It's a family-oriented county. Sometimes it's a pain because things close at 8, but that's because everybody's at home with their family having dinner, and everybody that we've met is very friendly. So nice, and it's I feel like I'm out of the city but close enough to I don't want to say the city, but to go and do things. But it's laid back, and it's really pleasant place to live. It's a very healthy county. My husband used to work for Publix, and the Publix in Watkinsville ranked the highest in healthy eating habits for the foods that were sold. They sold the most organic and the most healthy food items in the entire region.
We know that mealtime is a social, event, and if you live by yourself and there's nobody to eat with, then you're likely to not eat. And so we know that that's a big problem for seniors. Not just the economic side of it, is just being, wanting to cook something, for one or for two, and the difficulty of doing that.
Things, Oconee County is considered very high SES, socioeconomic status. And so people don't, and our free and reduced price lunch is one of the lowest in the state. But we do have free and reduced price lunch. So hunger is an issue, but it's sort of covered up by the fact that, you look at the statistics and all you see is, high SES, but there's definitely hungry kids.
There is a misunderstanding. Like, I'm thinking, people may think they're eating healthy, but they're not. All the processed food and whatnot. Even just, I remember even as a kid, I went for speech. I would get like M&Ms if I made my S's correctly. So, and they do that, and they don't think anything of that. But that's not a healthy behavior, So, not candy anyway. God, give them an extra 10 minutes recess, stuff like that. So.
A lot of times it's based on those needs assessments that we're doing at that grassroots level. What does the community truly need, and how can we address it?
I mean, maybe we don't know that there's an issue, because maybe just like me, I assume everybody knows everybody's eating healthy, well off. Maybe they need to have a needs assessment, and there might be a need out there and we just don't know about it.
We're eligible for a lot of federal grants, there are no Title I schools, obviously, so we don't benefit from a lot of the federal monies, grant monies that would go elsewhere when there's a high level of observed need. But there is need there, as evidenced that I can speak to two things. One is the backpack, the school backpack to kids, food to kids on the weekend, and then at Christmas, the empty stocking fund kind of concept, that was specific to kids in the county, and the need just got bigger and bigger and bigger every year.
But the need will be to get folks in to educate them about healthy eating. That's my main concern. And then, by the way, we offer good meals for your students.
SP is amazing. They, for years, operated out of just a tiny little facility, and just so much demand, so much need for kids with special needs, and that has been my area of nutrition for decades. They need nutrition education. There's with special needs kids, because of various things, food becomes a reward, and there's a lot of obesity, and that impacts mobility. It impacts all kinds of things. So. That's an issue for people who are hungry is transportation. We have no public transportation in Oconee County, and no sidewalks that you mentioned, which is a huge issue for, health reasons as well as safety reasons. Our planning commissioners have not done a good job making it a bike-friendly community, a walking-friendly community. They just don't see that green space is important.
If you're not trying to get to the senior center, if you're just trying to get around on your own, there's no taxi services, there's no bus service, unless you are in that certain age limit or income limit. So I think transportation is an issue, especially for students that may want to participate in an after-school athletic event and they don't have the money to either buy the equipment that they need, or they can't get a ride home. Their only transportation is the school bus. And so, that's always an issue, and so if they're not staying at school supervised and they're latchkey kids, and of course that can be an issue. I don't know the numbers in Oconee, for that, the statistics, but I think that's a challenge in any community, rich or poor.
Yeah.
Would love to see more sidewalks, and I don't know how to address that except start applying for grants. Since I've been there, 2 policemen have been killed.
Really?
Standing out there directing traffic.
You are kind of in Watkinsville itself. There's nice sidewalks, but in these other small communities and kind of rural areas of the county, there's not going to be a lot of, walkable.
Services aren't as observable. They're probably there, but you probably have to go digging quite a bit.
And to know.
Right, know how to navigate systems to get what you need and be a pretty strong advocate. I really love our little local newspaper. It's called the Enterprise, the Oconee Enterprise, and it's $36 a year, and we pay it, and it's a paper newspaper that comes in my mailbox once a week. It's a little weekly circular. And that is a great way to it's really focused in on Oconee County, and that's a great way to hear about it. And so as a person who's very interested in social justice, but had limited time, food justice is important to me. And so that my antennae were already up about that.
Don't do a lot of advertising for school nutrition. They don't, and I don't know if that's because at the high school level it's different, but they don't send menus home. I don't get emails about menus, but still at the primary, elementary, and middle school level, there a menu would come home, but there wasn't a lot of
Interaction with the parents or anything.
Yeah, so I think that they probably could do something to get parents and school nutrition together, because I think there's a lot of misinformation out there, and if school nutrition could step out and meet with parents and explain stuff that they might have. At the high school level, the principal sends out emails. So if you could get the principal on, like if you wanted to do a survey, you would need to get the principal involved and have him send it out. And I think he'd be willing to do that. At the primary and elementary school levels, it's a lot easier because parents go to the schools a lot when their kids are little, because there's volunteer opportunities, there's parties, you can go have lunch with them. At the high school level, parents don't go to the school much. I think the kids would probably have a fit.
And I tell you, the place that I've had the most success on people seeing the flyers and such has been at the libraries. Those pockets of people that cannot access things because they have a car but it doesn't run, or they don't have the gas money for it, or whatever the case may be, and if you don't have public transportation, it's a hard thing for them not to be able to get around.
The question that remains is, what can be done to fix these nutritional disparities in the community?
That just shining a light on it, education, and being, social marketing now can extend your reach so much. to be smart about it and come up with a savvy little campaign that you choose one of those issues we've talked about and come up with just a few social media nudges that you could put out there to try and just change the conversation on the ground level. And always kids are a good place to start with because you're planting seeds, and you never know where those seeds are going to go, but any way you can connect kids with healthy foods, I think that's a good idea, whether they're special needs, whether they're elementary school age. I initiated and led the Fresh Fruit and Vegetable Friday program for a couple of years. Though because it was entirely volunteer driven and donation based, we did it as a once a month in my children's elementary school, where we served 6 grades, about 530 kids once a month, either a fresh fruit or a fresh vegetable. And with that, I created a take-home half sheet with nutrition information, maybe a little recipe. One time we had them taste radishes, and they ate those radishes, which amazed me.
I am part of the local Family Connection Collaborative, which here is known as Oconee Area Resource Council, OARC. And so that is a state-funded collaboration through the governor's office, and there's one in every county, and they're literally just the agency that brings all other agencies to the table to learn about resources within the community. Mm-hmm.
Oh.
So someone, like I know for Oconee County, the special ed parent liaison always comes for the Oconee County school systems. Here we have ESP, extra special people. They always have someone that comes. Usually there's DFACS representation, the library, what we did have Action Incorporated, which is like an assistance program that's headquarters are in Athens, and they have an office in a lot of the counties around. A lot of times it'll be local officials like mayors and commissioners.
Really?
Mm-hmm. And even retired educators, just volunteers in the community. So even some of the ones I've been, like the fire chief, the police chief, the sheriff, they come.
Oh.
But anytime somebody calls out of the blue and says, I have this audience, or I'm interested, do you think you could offer something? Then we're, as long as we've got space and time, we can offer things.